Hi, this is Kelly Fasterling. Many of you have seen me as a realtor and watched and heard some amazing stories from different realtors. Today, I'm going to share with you a different side of what I do. I have been in real estate for many, many years, but have also been a financial planner for many, many years. I started in real estate investing over 20 years ago, got my license as a realtor, and then learned how to work with my money and get it producing for me as I saved for my next real estate investment, and just kept evolving to help others do the same. So today I'm going to share with you a bit about my journey, and I'm going to start a series of episodes that will help to educate you in the financial space to create a better future for yourself, to create some of that hope, some of that knowing that financially you're going to be just fine, and removing some of that worry about those financial concerns. So, my mission truly is to provide financial insight, provide financial confidence, and truly the plan, take the action that puts that plan together that helps each of you succeed in your financial future. But let me start first a little bit with my background and where I came from and how I evolved into this field. Now, I started out probably as many of you did. I started out going to college, go to college, get a good job, save in your 401k, and you're going to be fine. Well, that journey for me was not all roses. So I started out, went to college at the University of Colorado, got my degree in management information systems, and moved into software development. I did that for 25 years. In fact, the first system I developed out of college was the retirement system for the state of Nevada. That was quite a journey. But I progressed on to really understand how people did their jobs and build the software to help them and enable them to do their jobs better. It was a wonderful 25-year career. After a few layoffs, that career needed to shift for me. But that wasn't the only reason for the shift. When you're in that corporate sector or working for a company, you are given a 401k to invest in. And then that 401k for most of us has 5, 6, 7 choices. And it's whether you want a little more growth or a little more safety, but bottom line, everything's in the market. And so I did what most people did. I picked one, a couple or two of those choices, diversified just a little bit. And the way it turned out for me is in 2001, I lost half of that asset base. And then in 2008, I lost half of it again. Now, 2006 was a bit of a different year for me, a few different challenges. So here I was in this 25-year career. My husband left and I became divorced. I lost my job at the same time and had a melanoma. So between those three events, I really needed to shift, really needed to determine how to fix my retirement, how to, number one, create some income, because I was now 100% financially responsible for my 11, 13, and 15-year-old sons. I had no job, and my retirement was decimated. So things needed to change for me. So I started on a journey of really financial literacy to improve my situation. Now, that literacy started with the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki book. If you haven't had a chance to pick that one up and read it, I would highly recommend it. It truly changed my trajectory and how I thought about money and where I chose to invest. So not only did I read his book, went to his 1 hour seminar, his weekend seminar, and took his entire mentoring series. And I started down the path of real estate investing because I really felt quite confident in that as a path. My dad had done some investing through our childhood. He had a couple rental homes. We helped out in those rental homes, painting and rehabbing. But with that experience and watching the growth in his homes, it just felt like that could be a good solution to help resurrect my retirement options. Well, I not only started down that path, but then became connected with somebody that could actually do it for me. Now, I did my first house. It was a good deal. But what happened is I determined for me, I don't like those midnight calls for support and for the water pump going out and for the tree limb falling and all the things that have to be managed in maintenance. I don't like that. The other thing I'm not good at is actually placing the tenant and doing enough due diligence on them to place them and then being willing to move them out when the time comes. So I let my tenants sit too long. So I learned that being a property manager was not my gifting. I needed somebody else to do that for me. So in my journey after my first home, and I used my IRA to help fund my first home, so that's a possibility. After that one, I couldn't find the second one. Now, this was at a time when the market was just going crazy. You'd put in an offer, there'd be 20 right behind you, and you got to the point you really couldn't make money on the property. That's when I became connected with this group that does real estate for me. And what's magical about what they do is they do it outside of my backyard. I live in Colorado Springs. Our prices are pretty high. Very difficult to get a good rent ratio on the money you're putting in. And all of a sudden, this world opened up that I could own real estate in these other states and have them become producing properties for much less upfront income, much less upfront investment on my part. So I went down that path. And over the course now of the last 10 years, I have transacted over 90 doors and really put my retirement back in shape. Now, out of those 90 doors, the ones that I've done through this team have been amazing. The ones that I did through a couple other partnerships, I learned a lot of lessons. So the good and the bad of all of that. Well, as a real estate investor, the next thing to learn is you've got cash flow coming in from your properties and you're saving up to buy the next one because you're just kind of creating this machine to create enough cash flow for the future retirement. And this money's just sitting in the bank. It's doing nothing for you. I was invited to a class to learn about a financial asset that could actually earn money, but at the same time, I could borrow from it and go invest in my real estate. So now I'm in a position where I have it earning over here and earning over here. So that same dollar can be earning twice. That was an amazing concept. I ran with it, worked with the advisor that was showing me how to do this, wound up bringing him 20 of my investor friends so that he could introduce them, and finally said, I love this stuff. How do I get more involved? Well, I became his operations manager in his life insurance business. Now, this was Aspen Creek Wealth Strategies. I became his operations manager and then said after about a year of that, I'd really rather work with people and help people really adjust their retirement, be able to put real estate in it, be able to manage their money, and then be able to look at other options for them. So as the journey progressed, I also picked up my securities license because you need a really good balance of what some of those safe money assets can do for you, but a good balance of what the market money assets can do for you because they each have a different focus. And we'll spend a whole lot more time on that in other episodes. But today, my focus is on helping 3 different kinds of folks. Number one is realtors. I have a real passion for realtors. I'm a realtor myself. I do help people with buying and selling. I help people with investing. As a realtor, though, we're commission based. We have to figure out our own investment strategy. We're on our own. And most realtors have not had an opportunity to get that system in place. So I love to help those folks know that there's a really reasonable path to create that retirement in a couple different ways and help them put that in place. Another passion is real estate investors. I've been doing it for a while now. I've learned a lot of things that work and some things that don't work. I love to help people wade through that and figure out how best to manage the investment that's going to go into their properties and really see clearly how best to invest. And the third group I love to help are the folks that are close to my age, the folks that are really nearing retirement. I work very effectively with federal employees. I know their benefits very, very well. I have a passion for federal employees because my dad, he was military, Vietnam, Korea, walked away with a nice pension. My son right now is also in the Army out at Fort Bragg going through training. And when you work with folks that provide such service, whether it's there or in the VA or in the National Park Service or in the Department of Defense, there's amazing service they're providing. They get a unique set of benefits, and I love to help them as well as folks that are transitioning from that workforce and into retirement because there's a whole different thought process. We've been accumulating assets all our life to prepare for this retirement day. And now we're shifting. Now we're going to start taking money from those assets. And that's a whole different paradigm to look at. So I love to help those three kinds of folks, the realtors, real estate investors, and folks that are coming up on retirement, and very especially federal employees that are coming up on retirement. Now, what do I help those folks with? With realtors and investors, it's creating that engine, that growth that will catapult them into a world of financial freedom. When we're in a job, we think of working for a number of years, saving enough and retiring. When we're self-employed, we think differently. We think of financial freedom. And there's a financial freedom number that we have, an income number that we have that we're trying to reach. And so there's a way to create that. And frankly, it does not take 30 or 40 years. It can take 5 years to create that, again, depending on what your number is and what your goals are. I love to help people get that in motion and get that going for them. But for those folks that are nearing retirement, their biggest fear truly is running out of money. Now, usually when I sit down with somebody that has done a pretty good job accumulating their assets, what I'm able to lay out for them is a one-page visual that shows that they shouldn't run out of money. They should be they've done a great job getting themselves ready. Now, if they haven't, we have to have that discussion about working a little longer, saving a little more, different asset choices. We have that discussion. But bottom line, what I want to give everyone is that peace of mind that they've done that job and they're ready to go. And they can understand all those benefits and all the transitions as they move into retirement. As for a real estate investor, I really want to help them get their money working for them. We shouldn't have that much cash just sitting on the sidelines. I see a lot of us commission-based folks sitting with very large amounts in our bank. And the reason we do is because, frankly, we don't know when that next commission check might come. You know, real estate has a very cyclical flow. Sometimes it's going nuts and we're doing really well. But we know there's going to be a winter season when things slow down. So it's important that we have that cash bank, that liquidity, But there are other ways to do it where that can actually make money for us, but still be liquid. The bank is not the only option for them. So that's an introduction to how I got where I am, what that journey was, and it was came through some early pain and just a driving passion to figure out what options are available to us, what we can do, how we can shift, and now to share that with the folks that are in my sphere and my world and help them understand their choices, simplify those choices for them so that they can create that future that they're really looking for. So thank you so much for joining me today. Look forward to more in the series as I start to walk through some of these financial concepts and just educate you in a way to just help you create more in your life. So until next time.